You talked about earlier so many young people being depressed and suicide, but even when it doesn't get to the point of suicide, what I see a lot with teenagers today is a give up attitude. It can be something that is not even a huge deal, and I give up. I'm not going to try anymore. I don't care anymore. Can you tell me where that comes from? Well, how do we go from trying, like literally one day, and we've gone through this with me and you. One day, I'm excited, I'm motivated. The next day, I give up, I don't care. How are we doing that?
Um, I feel like I've said before, our generation, I think more than anything, is really, really lost and doesn't know what to do. And sometimes we'll get that, like you said, that burst of energy, and we'll be on the right track and think we got something going. And then the second it falls through, we get discouraged, and there's like no more courage, no more drive. We're just done. We want to give up. And I find that happens with a lot of things. And like you said, it's happened to me a lot of times. And I think it comes from us being told that we don't know things because we're young. So we just come up with one idea, try it, it fails, we give up.
You keep referencing, and not just on this video, when we talk in general, you keep referencing being lost. I feel lost. This generation is lost. And again, we're talking to someone who was raised in church, somebody with a praying mother. And honestly, had it not been for my prayers and the prayers of the righteous, and really interceding for my daughter, I probably would have lost her, or we would not have the relationship that we have right now. And that's why I really wanted to touch teens, because as parents, as ministers, as missionaries, or whatever we want to call ourselves, we cannot just dismiss this generation for being lazy, wild, and not wanting to live right. Because if they were doing what they wanted to do, they would be satisfied. But they're not. So they're doing these things that's not even making them happy, and is driving them to depression and suicide. So we have a responsibility to step in. And there's even been times when she's wanted to do things and I said no, because I knew that what she wanted to do was going to make her miserable. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about being lost. What
It feels like, well, personally to me, I feel like I was kind of, personally to me, it feels like I was kind of just thrown into the adult world and kind of left to figure things out on my own. And you have the help and you have the support sometimes, but nobody really understands how the world is for you personally. Does that make sense?
Yes. So then, if nobody understands how the world is for you, why does your generation listen to each other instead of us? So if you don't think your friends know what to do, and if you don't think your parents know what to do, why do the friends get the influence and the parents get rebellion? Why
Because
does neither one of them knows?
because well, for me, it's like our parents are a little bit older, so we feel like you don't see how things are in this century rather than however many years ago it was.
Okay, it was still this. Well, actually, it wasn't this
No,
century.
it wasn't this, right.
Okay.
But it's
I'm from the
like
last century, so I don't know.
things are so much different, and the way people react, the things that you see, the things that you see going on in society have changed so much, and it seems like you guys wouldn't really understand what's so much different now. And like you'll say, there's things that are similar to back then, but there's a lot of things that have a twist to it that even when we try to explain it to you, it's not understood.
Okay, I get that. Now let's go to this, the Bible. Okay, as you know, the Bible was written several hundred, or even a couple thousand years ago. It took place a couple thousand years ago. Do you think the Bible is valid and applies to your situations today?
Yes.
So I'm glad that you do feel like the Word of God still applies today. And this is pure speculation. Do you think that most of the young people in church think that the Bible is still relevant and applies? Do you think that young people today still trust the Bible?
Yes. And I actually want to say something
Why?
about
I'm
that.
sorry. Why?
That's what I'm getting to. What I want to say about that is a lot of times on my social media, you'll see people who are clearly commenting, posting about the suicidal comments, saying how lost they are, how much they don't want to be in this world anymore. But next to it, I always see a young person with a quote from the Bible. If we don't quote anything else, I have always seen a quote from the Bible coming from my generation, whether they, regardless of their religion, anything, there's always a quote from the Bible.
I'm so glad to hear that, and I agree with that. And so, what that does is it challenges us, the parents, the ministers.
It's, sorry, hold
Go
on. It's
ahead.
kind of like we have that faith in the back of us, and then we believe what the word says, but it's kind of a matter of us stepping out on that faith and understanding that it really will work out. It's kind of like we put it up there to believe it, but we're not really pushing ourselves to believe it.